Oh, it does not. Oh, there we go. All right, had to fix my microphone there. Welcome to another data collection session for my Power BI reports. Today I'm in Automobilista 2 and we are gathering some data at Daytona for, let's see, I think my third report on this, my third Power BI dashboard. It's going to be an F1 McLaren MP4 12 low downforce, which is, if you know your McLaren or McLaren and Mercedes history, it was the first McLaren Mercedes car, which inspired the actual McLaren Mercedes supercar, which was pretty cool. It was around that time, I think 97 or so. If I remember correctly, this was also Mika Hakkinen's car, or one of them. So we're gathering some data here. We're going to race at Daytona for about 15 minutes or so and gather some data and see if we can put it into Power BI. If I can, I will, but I have a prime rib that's in the smoker right now wrapping up, so I might jump over there instead. But let's get to it. We have a 15-minute session at Daytona with the McLaren MP412. And then afterwards, we'll take a look at the data, slam it into Power BI, and see if we can get a nice tiny refresh of our report and keep the data for a later date. Let's head on in. Gotta get the gloves on. I don't want my wheel to have any damage on it, so that's why I put them on if you happen to be curious. All right, and oh, maybe I should start the game first. There we go. All right, so again, McLaren MP412 at Daytona. I don't think I have it set to like go to nighttime or anything. It's going to be a daytime race as far as I can remember, but I'm going to try to just pull over the first chance I get, let everyone pass, and then stay at the back and start from there. See if we can get some good telemetry from like all the positions that change and all that good stuff. Let's hop in. And by hop in, I mean let's wait for the game to load, because the game has to load. Oh, that reminds me, I should probably turn on Sim Racing Telemetry, which I can do by clicking Automobilista 2 here, record a new session, and start. And let's hop back into the game. Let's make sure this camera works, because it has a habit of not working.
Sixth place, 14 minutes.
There
we
we
need to
go.
get on with this. The track temp is 19. The air temp is 10 Celsius. Pit window opens after 1 minute. Nice and neat. Stay out of trouble.
Let's let this guy pass, and we'll ride the inside here. Oh, this is the first time I've actually ridden this car. It's going to be quite interesting to see how it is. Looks like the camera was a bit off center there, so hopefully I got it working. Okay, we let everyone pass. Let's sneak up here on the back. Oh, something tells me this car's not going to be very forgiving at all. Something tells me I'm not going to do very well here. It's never actually used a Formula 1 V10 car. I should have stayed on the outside, I guess, because I have folks on the inside. No opportunities to pass whatsoever. Oh, here, I guess I have some. And traffic.
Clear right side.
Let's see if I can sneak past these trucks.
Still there, clear right. Car right.
bit.
Clear right.
There we go.
Car right. Clear right.
Alright, so the other folks in the Formula 1 V10 cars are
On your
way
right.
at the front of the pack. You can
Clear
actually
right.
see them on the far side of the screen. Already in Sector 3. So it's going to be very fun to catch up to these guys.
On your right. Clear right.
Especially with all this traffic.
Left side. Clear left.
Oh, hi.
Okay, Andreas.
Right side. Clear right. Car right.
Oh, track limits.
Clear right.
Yes, yes. I heard you. A very interesting and very fast car. It's a bit hard to read on where my braking points are. Again, this is the first time I've ever used this car. So it'll be very interesting to see this telemetry that comes
On
from
your
this.
left. Clear left.
As if we make our way through the pack here, how are we going to do that?
On your right.
And we wait for an
Still
opening?
there.
Yes, we can.
Hold your line. Clear right. On your right. Clear right.
So I'm at 13, no, I'm 7. We already lapping cars? Looks like we might be.
Left side.
There's a Formula
Clear
Vintage.
left.
I just have a little work to do catching up to my Formula 1 V10 comrades up there, who are probably very far ahead. Can I go full throttle on that corner? It looks like I can. Still trying to familiarize myself with this car. It's such a beast. I guess it was not a great idea to just throw myself into here, not having learned the braking points or anything like that of this car. But we will do our best. I'm going to try to use some braking points
The
from
leader has just done a 127.0.
when I've driven other fun cars. That was pretty poor. With Daytona, I look for this green wall that shows up on the right side of the track. And I know that's my braking point with that one car, so I'm going to try it again this time. It looks like I'm all by myself for this section of the race until we start lapping.
That was at 131.1. The track temperature is increasing. It's now 22 Celsius.
Oh, hi. And there's some trucks up there. Let's try to see if we can catch those up, because that might mean they were holding up some traffic. I think I may have lost the camera angle.
Car left. Clear left.
That was a bad mistake. Now I'm changing the views. I was trying to hit pause, and there I go. I have no idea how to change my view. Well, that was pretty. Definitely lost time and did some damage to my car looking for the pause menu. Alright, let's at least see if we can look for the green wall that shows up right here. Not past here, well, still pretty terrible.
Your tyres are cold. Watch
And
out.
it looks like I am. Wow. That wasn't expected. That's what I get for looking at the timer on the left. Looks like I'm about 27 seconds behind 5th place. But
Okay,
man, look,
Andreas.
this makes
10
some
minutes to
great
go.
lead.
That's 10 minutes left. Stay focused. We're still in this.
That's the excuse I can keep using. I'm just collecting data.
Catching the slower cars now.
Alright, so let's make our way past these trucks. bit of early throttle there. And still no sight of my opponent. 21 seconds, so I have taken about 6 seconds.
You're reeling, Summer. The gap is now 12 seconds.
Oh, 12 seconds.
It's
okay.
pretty slow into International Horseshoe.
Green wall. Keep it tight. Go around this Formula. No, vintage. GT vintage or something like that. Those are a lot of fun. I think that's the Porsche 911 RSR in the 70s. See if anyone's pitting. Yes, they are. Not in our class. And I have a 10-second penalty.
Your times are good in all 3 sectors.
Sweet.
Slow car ahead. This is the leader for their class.
Left side. Clear left.
Shouldn't have gone around the outside there. It kind of slowed me down. This car and track, probably not the best pairing.
Left side, clear left.
What I did was I actually asked ChatGPT to give me a random combination of car and track. And this is the one he came up with. Maybe next time it'll be a bit more interesting considering I've been alone pretty much the whole race.
Temps increasing. It's now 13 Celsius. All right, Andreas. Halfway home. Fuel's good.
Halfway there.
Your brake temperatures are all really high. We're going to have to cool them.
I'm not cooling my brakes.
Summer in front is pitting.
Oh, okay.
Great driving. Keep it up.
Should we pit this
pace? You've just done a 127.9.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should clean my brakes. That would be very great.
Slower cars ahead. These guys are fighting for position. The group includes their class leader.
Car left.
I'd like to get by, please. Thank you.
Clear left.
Oh, this is not going to be fun.
Tires are cold.
Why are my front tires cold? Am I just not driving fast enough? I must not be driving fast enough. Green wall on the right.
The gap in front is now 14 seconds.
15-second gap. Third place. Soon I'm gonna have to pit because there are only 5 minutes left in this race.
Coming up on a slower class car.
All pitted.
That was a 127.7.
Too cold apparently? I don't know. Maybe I can check the heat.
On your left, clear left.
I get it. But I'm very confused as to how I'm not heating up the brake.
Slower car ahead. This guy's their class leader. That's 5 minutes to go. Come on, keep it together. We'll be on the podium here.
Right side, clear right.
Oh,
Okay,
thanks for that.
Andreas, you're coming up on some slower cars. These guys are busy fighting. They might not notice you.
I think I have to pit. I
next car is. Play long. Keep it coming, man. This is great. P2.
Car right, clear right.
Push now. We might win this.
Car left,
No.
clear left.
Pit window closing in 2 minutes.
Now I need to pit. Good thing I have to get the cut and soon will let loose. I have to tighten that or it'll be very difficult for me to hear.
You're reeling this car in. The gap's now 5.8 seconds. They're slower than us into 12.
Let's put ourselves up for pitting through.
Coming up on a slower class car. Pit window closing in 1 minute.
And you still haven't told me the pit, so I don't understand why you're telling me about the pit window closing.
We've got cold tyres. We need to get some heat into them.
That's not going to happen.
Alright, Andreas. There's a car exiting the pits. Heads up. Look out for the pit speed limit. You'll be coming out into traffic. We should come out into position for between
Very interesting.
Summer and P1.
Oh, and the repair. The repair got us. And there goes our opponent. And here comes P3, P4.
All done. Go.
Yep, thanks for that. Now I have a speed
The
limit
window is
here.
closed. Just 2 minutes left. 2 minutes to go.
There's our opponent. That's P3, P4, and P5. Splendid.
There's a car approaching. Stay in
See
your
what we
lane.
can do.
Slower class cars ahead.
I don't think in one lap we'll be able to catch anyone, but wait, that's one of ours. Can you catch them? Okay. Oh, hi.
Car right, clear right.
Let's see what we can do.
On your left,
That
clear
was
left.
probably
On your
not
left.
my best work.
Clear left.
You're coming up on some slower cars. These guys are busy fighting. They might not notice you.
Let's keep this interesting. Looking up behind them, and that was a near miss. Quick. As much slipstream as we can from all these cars. We're gonna need it if we have any chance of
Your brake temperatures are really high, mate. They're
Catching
cooking.
up.
Slower cars ahead. The class leaders up here.
constantly
Right
being
side,
told my
clear
brakes are really
right.
hot, so
P4.
I guess it's gonna be really interesting.
On your right, clear right.
This
Car right,
telemetry.
clear right.
I don't think he's ever said. Oh, hi. That's one of our opponents.
On your right. You're in the
Did I
middle.
really? No.
Clear all
That
round.
was,
You've just gone out of track limits.
all sorts of interesting.
Car left, clear left.
Slower car ahead. This is their class
How do you
leader.
get past these folks?
Right side, clear right.
Oh,
On your
no.
right, clear right. Clear right, car
Oh,
right.
this is just
Clear
turned
right.
disastrous, hasn't it? And there's our chance of her slipping away.
Okay, Andreas. You've got
way too much fuel. That is something I'll have to take a look at in the telemetry data. I don't think that much fuel is needed for Daytona.
The gap to power ahead is increasing. It's now 5.8.
Even though we're full throttle, such a big portion of the race.
One more lap to go.
Okay, one more. So even if I catch up to the car improvements, I don't think it will be of any use considering I have a 10-second penalty, which I did not serve in the pit lane. So it will be added to my time at the end. And not that it makes a big difference anyway, considering I just messed up.
You're outside track limits there.
Yeah, thank you for that. I sure am. Oh, wow, and there is 5th place right behind us. Which means I'm going to end up in 5th because they are very, very close behind. In the past, I won't let them. We may as well crash trying.
You're coming up on a slower car.
And that's the end of the race. Fourth, no, 5th. Technically 5th, probably.
P4. And there's the finish. Good result, mate. Well done.
I'm gonna end up with it. Alright, let's do our cool down lap. Take a look at the data. Load it into Power BI. Let's see if it came out of the pit.
Left side.
Oh, interesting.
Clear left.
Like a big line. I guess not terrible for number 1 having started at the very, very, very back of the grid. And number 2, my first time in this car. Definitely like to get more familiar with it. Seems like it's a lot of fun. And
On
possibly
your
win
left.
some races with it.
Clear left.
It's a lot of fun, but it's a handful. I know this is the cool down lap and I'm like heating everything up.
Left side. Clear left.
Yeah, maybe not crashing for a while. Be good. Alright, let's get into the pits. We have a space available.
What's your speed limit in the pits?
And that's the end of our session. We're going to save our replay. Then we're going to go stop our telemetry data from gathering. And then we'll take a quick look at the data. So we will view the replay, save it. And there's me at the very back. I think let me watch T1, turn 1 here. T1 was a bit of a disaster. Yep, got held up by these trucks the whole time. It was very interesting. And then just completely boxed in. Alright, that was cool. Let's see if we can find the mouse on my triples here. Here we are, exit to main menu. And we are done. Let's go ahead and exit the game because Power BI loves to hog the memory. It can't get enough memory. All right. let's stop our telemetry. So we're just going to hit the stop button. Then it's going to give us our new session here, 12 laps at Daytona in the MP4 12. Those are the ones we want. And then we're going to share and export to CSV. Meanwhile, let's pop open Power BI. And hopefully, all we have to do is save a copy of our report, the Automobilista one anyway. We're going to save a copy of our report. And where is it? Right here. No, it's the McLaren MP4 Brands Hatch. There we go. So we grab this. We're going to save a copy as SRT. It's still McLaren, or the McLaren Mercedes, I guess. MP4 12 instead of MP4 8. And this is at Daytona. Save it to the same location. And the title changed at the very top left, so we know we're working with the newer file. Let's go ahead and turn Streamlabs music back on here. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to change our file. No, you can remove the files. There we go. Okay, so once you have the copy of your report, all you have to do is switch this data source. Hopefully, that's all we need to do, and we will be up and running with our latest session. Now, something I should add is my goal during the next few days is actually to take multiple sessions, group them together into one report, to where instead of making multiple reports, all you have to do is have one big report. However, I only feel really comfortable doing that in SQL Server, so the next exercise will actually be taking all of these CSVs that we collected and importing them into SQL Server, and then using that as a data source instead. That means that all we have to do from that moment on is actually import our data into SQL Server. We never really have to refresh our Power BI report here on desktop. We can actually just refresh it on the web, and it'll always ingest the latest data. And then you can use filters within the report itself to change which session you're looking at, and even compare multiple sessions against each other. That's really what I want to do, right? Because yesterday I was working with ACC and using a Porsche with stock setup and also one with Go setup. So I want to make sure that the latest setups that we have actually make a good difference. So there's no way to do that other than overlaying them on top of each other and comparing them side by side. So really, that's what I'm anxious to do. All right, so we're going to go ahead and change our source here. Let's look for the file that we just created, which is not that one. Sim Racing Telemetry exports, and our latest one is in our downloads bin. No, it's not. Where is that file? Oh, it hasn't been created yet. I have to go back to Sim Racing Telemetry, and here it is. I'm going to say it's AMS2, Daytona, McLaren, MP4 12. And today's date. 12/26. Hope everyone had a great holiday. Now we have our file. So we're going to switch back to Power BI. This is actually the file we're looking for right here. And we're going to, let me go back to the report actually, because I did a few steps without explaining what I'm doing. Here's the data that we already had from our previous session. What we're going to do is we're just going to right click on that, and we're going to say edit query. And then we're going to go to source up here. and change the source to be our new file. That's all we have to do. So we're going to take the name of this file and we're just going to copy it over right on top. And paste. And we're missing the .csv at the end, so I'm going to add the .csv. And then I'm just going to hit the check mark. And of course that doesn't work. Oh, because that's not a dot, that's a comma. Sorry, that's my first day. There we are. Now we can see that it's our new data because it says the McLaren and it says Daytona. So we're just going to hit close and apply. And hopefully all of our stuff will change. Instead of this saying Brands Hatch, it'll say Daytona. All our data will be completely different, but it'll be in the same exact format. So here it is exporting or importing. And that's not super fast, but there's our new data. And let's make sure that our switch from imperial to metric still works. Yes, everything still works. That's good. And it looks like we can still filter on lap 1 and 2, lap 6 and 7. Yes, perfect. Okay. So it looks like the track temperature just shot up during about halfway through the race, I would say. And my race positions, you can tell this right here is when I pitted. I went up to even P2, but as soon as I pitted right here, we had an issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a marker really quick to make sure that I remember that that's when I pit, because I pit around, if I hover over here, about lap 8. Lap 8 is when I lost 2 positions in the pit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this visual, and I'm going to click the formatting over here on the right, and I'm going to add a, where is it? Oh, actually I'm going to click the little magnifying glass for analysis, and I'm going to hit a constant line. Now I always have trouble determining if the vertical lines are y-axis lines. I normally would think that, so I'm going to try there. Nope, that's the wrong one. So I'll go ahead and remove it. And I'm going to add it on the x-axis instead. Alright, and the value is going to be 8.5. Just to show that lap 8 is when I pit. Does it allow us to have a label? Yes. Okay. 8.5. And I think you can even do like a custom label if you really wanted to. But it doesn't look like I can see it. So we're going to have it dashed. And then we're also going to put a 25% transparency. Or sorry, 75% transparency. So it's not a huge difference. It'll just tell me exactly when I pit, so I know when I lost my positions and why. I'm going to save that. And it looks like brake temperatures is something I want to look at as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy these temperatures here. I'm going to put them in a new sheet because I'm kind of curious as to what happened with my brake temperatures. But if you notice, there's actually 4 values here. There's brake temperature 0, 1, 2, 3. I assume that's 1 for each wheel. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring them all in. We're going to remove the track temperature, and we're going to say what the maximum temperature of each brake was. And 4. Maximum, change everything to maximum. There we are. So now we can see the maximum brake temperature. Alright, so this one looks like it might be that whole degrees Kelvin that we ran into in one of our other sessions, or in our very first session. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop open the CSV formatting spreadsheet or tutorial that Sim Racing Telemetry had left us. And this is where we can try to control F for brake. Nope. Or temp. No, nothing in temps either. So they stated that their units were in Kelvin. So I think I'll take their word for it. They are a very, very smart bunch. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go to Google and search for their Kelvin to Fahrenheit, and let's just test out one of the values that we see. So we see 1080. 1080 is one of the values. So if I say 1080, no, it just doesn't make sense. Celsius doesn't make sense. Is that Fahrenheit? 500 degrees? 1,000 degrees? It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the values seem really, really consistent. Maybe we could just do a quick search on how hot Formula 1 is. Maybe we're learning something today. Between 400 Celsius and 1,000 Celsius. These are Celsius. Holy moly. Today we learned, folks. Today we learned. That's pretty crazy. Okay, so everything is in Celsius, and we're gonna convert it to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Crazy stuff. I do not want to touch these with my bare hands. That would explain the fire suits. Okay, brake temp. We'll call this 0. Brake temp 1. Oh, I'm just double clicking here. Brake temp 2. I'm just double clicking to change the names. I don't want them to be all complicated or be all max. Oh, brake temp 3. Brake temp 3. And I wish I could find some information about whether or not I'm correct in my 0 is front left, 1 is front right. I would assume that that's the case, but I'm really not sure what they did. So I think I have to meet with the folks at Sim Racing Telemetry and see, or at least give them a shout and see. One thing we can do is we can actually look at the charts and see if we can find something about brake temperature or stats. Nope, just velocity. I know they have some good stuff on the iPhone app. There's throttle, lap time, velocity. It looks like I'm just gonna have to do some guesswork here for a little bit. Yeah, it's not really showing much. Okay, that's fine. So, what we can do here is we can say which one we want to pick. Can we do that and exclude one or the other? Nope, I think we can just do like brake damage instead. So we're gonna try to see if we can find any brake damage for each lap. What was something that they were saying? My tire temperature was keeping cool, I think. My tires were too cold. There's tire temps. That's wrong. 3 and 4. Okay, so instead of the sums, we want the maximum. Maximum. And maximum. Here we go. So, it looks like around here was when my temperatures were too cool. This is around when I pitted again. Right here. So it looks like there was just a lot of tire wear and I was getting very high temperatures right when I pitted. Or right on the lap that I pit. So that's interesting. Max tire temp. I'm gonna go with proper spelling of tired. Bite me. Okay, there we are. So, let's see if we can find anything else. Ooh, tire wear. That's definitely something I want to look at, because we should see the tire wear increasing over time until I get my tires changed during my pit stop. Oh, what did I just do? I think I cut it. Copy and paste, and then we're just going to reuse it. There's no need to remake every visual every single time, and there's also no huge need to always use the newest, the hottest, the coolest visuals. It's really just not necessary. Your goal is to help people easily understand the data. It's not to put together some fancy dashboard that everyone's visually impressed by, but then when they take like 5 to 10 seconds to try to actually read what it's saying, they can't. Always remember that when you're making these sort of dashboards, simpler is a little bit better, especially when it comes to things like racing, where strategists need to make decisions that are almost split seconds sometimes. They can't be bothered to look at all your fancy visuals and try to interpret what they're saying. It's okay to have simple visuals, line graphs, bar charts, that sort of thing. Sometimes pie charts are okay. My favorite place to go look at what visual you should use is the Power BI visual vocabulary. Let's search for it. Power BI visual vocabulary. Now, this is from the Financial Times. It's a report. Yeah, cool, Bing. Thank you for that. I just want to go to it. It's a report that was created by the Financial Times, or actually by SQL Jason, and it's a Power BI version of a Tableau report created for the Financial Times, and it basically tells you what sort of visuals you can use depending on what you want to showcase. So if you want to use something for ranking, for example, our positions throughout the race, you just click on ranking and it shows you all sorts of different visuals you can use. This one's a pretty cool one, a bump chart or a visual that shows that. Ribbon charts are pretty good as well. See, they're pretty simple visuals. You don't have to get all crazy with it. It's really cool and really impressive, I'm sure, for a television screen, or maybe just to impress folks, but it's okay to keep it simple. Correlation, for example, if I want to correlate something like tire temperature versus position, or tire temperature versus brake temperature, that sort of thing, I can use simple graphs like this. The most complicated I want to get is probably a heat map like that. All right, so back to our report. We were looking at tire wear, and this will actually tell me whether or not I have tire wear enabled for that race. I don't think I did. I don't think I did. So that's something that this report's telling me. Hey, you don't even have tire wear enabled. Go ahead and turn it back on. I must have been doing a session where I didn't have it enabled. So instead, let's work with one more. We have aero damage. We sure do. I think I had some aero. Nope, we didn't have aero damage either. I got to turn that back on. G-force. That's pretty cool. So we'll do maximum G-force. And it looks like we had quite a bit of G-force. Maybe I took that a particular turn flat out where I normally would not. So I have to go back to the replay and see why lap 9 I had a huge spike in G-force. If I also want to do like minimum of G-force, like the lowest amount of G-force, I can also do that right here. So I can actually put both the min and max of G-force in the same exact visual. So this is max G-force and minimum G-force. and it looks like the lowest G-force I hit, probably the other way, maybe a left-hand G-force and right. Again, I'm gonna bother. I'm so sorry if you are from Sim Racing Telemetry and you're watching this. I'm sorry in advance, but I'm gonna be bothering you with a lot of stuff, a lot of metrics here, because this is all really interesting data, but sometimes I'm not 100% sure what it means on the racing side. So I'm thinking this is left and this is right. That sounds about right, considering there's a lot of fast left-handers at Daytona. So this will be very interesting to see. And let's copy and paste the visual one more time, and then we can create our very last one, which we can say is our race temperature, fuel pressure, engine warning, engine damaged. No, I probably don't have any engine damage enabled if I don't have tires or anything. Speed limiter, suspension position. That's very interesting. What about throttle? Throttle by lap. Is this just... Yeah, it's just full power the entire time. That's all it means. But it's actually very interesting to analyze this on a one lap basis. So if you look at a single lap and then you extend that, you kind of zoom in, you'll be able to see the throttle applied throughout the lap. That'll be pretty cool to see, actually, looking at the exact values over the course of one lap. Actually, let's do that as our last exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to copy this visual here into a brand new page, and then we're just going to extend this out as far as we can go. And here, I'm going to... I don't really want to summarize. Maybe the average throttle. Because what I really want to do is a non-aggregate. I want to put together a table that says for one lap. Oh, that's why, because I'm doing it by lap, and I have to find a way to have a record ID here, I think is my problem. I don't seem to have a record ID, like a timestamp that shows exactly where I am in the race. I'm gonna have to look up how I can do that. So I guess right now I can't, but I can look at average throttle and have that as the last visual in my page 2. I'm gonna go back to page 2 here, and instead of maximum throttle, I'll actually have it be average throttle. And technically, I can also add minimum and maximum over the top of it. So here I will have my max throttle applied, which should always be just 100%. This is 81%. And then here we have 0%. So those are always the min and max. If you look, the min and max are so flat that it really just does not make sense to have them on the graph. You know max throttle is going to be 100%. You know minimum throttle is going to be 0%. To display them, it doesn't really make sense. It's just kind of fluff. So we're going to actually remove those. And instead what we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can turn this into a percentage. Now all I have to do is click on this throttle here, and then I just hit the percentage. It's just like Excel. If you're familiar with Excel, it works the same exact way. So let's see what happens. And there we are. That was very easy. We just want the average throttle percentage. So we'll say average throttle percentage. And then it automatically throws in the by lap because we have lap as our y-axis here. So what I can do here is I can try to see if I can maybe associate a color to our tires or our brakes. So I'm gonna say 0 maybe is FL. This can be FR for front right. This can be RL for rear left, and this can be RR for rear right. I believe that might be it, but again, I have to ask the folks at Sim Racing Telemetry to see if that's actually true or not. But if it is, then we just set a consistent color up with each corner just to make sure that we always know that we're looking at left, front right, rear left, or rear right. But looks like we have an average throttle, and that's good. We have a min and max G-force. We were able to add that. Tire temperature and brake temperature. So let's keep this to brake and throttle. That's what we're going to name this page. And the cool thing is I can actually take all of these components up here and copy them down here. So shrink this a little bit, shrink that a little bit, and then we will paste. Don't sync the visuals because I want these pages to run independently. And now we have all of our stuff from up here except for that gray square, which we'll go ahead and copy. And then we'll just make sure that if we view the selection pane, that this banner is at the very bottom so that it doesn't affect us being able to interact with our slicers up here. We always want to be able to do that. And let's make these a little bit bigger. Down here. Get these a little bit more even. Okay. Now we're able to see everything a little bit more dimensioned than just our summary, especially since this brake pressure is a little bit unreliable. I'm not really sure, but what I can do from here on out, even though I won't because I'm very hungry and I have a prime rib to finalize, is we can change this again from imperial to metric. So we can change the temperatures from Celsius to Fahrenheit here, and the G-force we can see whether or not we have left or right. And if that's the case, maybe we want to consider instead of a horizontal line chart, maybe a vertical type line chart, just to see exactly where, just to be able to easily visualize whether we're talking about left hand G-force or right hand G-force. So I'll ask the folks and see if we can get that going as well. So right now what I can do is save everything because I don't want to lose it after working so hard on it, and we will go ahead and publish it. So we'll hit publish, we'll go to my workspace, publish it there. And did it freeze? Oh man, the suspense. There we go. Okay, so we're going to open it. We're good to go. Here's our new report. We have the existing page that we had, and now we have the maximum. And actually something that has been bothering me and I really want to see if I can do is add a data bar here to this very bar. The race position, I want to see if I can add a data bar to make things a little bit better. So if I say I want like a background color, no, instead of a data bar, let's do a background color. So let's do green for good. So we're going to go to more colors, and we're adding some conditional formatting, and then red for bad, adding a middle color for yellow. And then if we hit OK, is green, no, 2 is good, 7 is bad, so we actually have to change that. We're going to right click on race position again, and we're going to edit the conditional formatting for background color. And can we just reverse the rules, or do we have to do them all again? Yeah, it looks like we have to do them all again. Okay, so instead what we're going to do is we're going to go green here, pick the green, make it a lighter green, and yellow stays the same. and this is red. So let's hit OK. Now we're good. So here, my mind can immediately jump to the green ones and see where we were doing well versus red where we were not doing so poorly. So that's always a plus. I'm going to republish it again. And publish it to my workspace. Hopefully, when we click on it again, it'll actually be in a good state. All right, so we're going back to Power BI Online. We're going to refresh this page and perfect. Now we have our updated version of the report. When I show this to folks, they can immediately see which laps I was doing well in, which laps I wasn't doing so well in. We do have to remember, in my defense, that I pulled over at the very start of the race to start from the back of the grid. So that is why I wasn't doing so well, hopefully. Well, that's just my excuse anyway. But we can also see here our various stats throughout the race. Obviously, our throttle went all the way down to basically average 1% because for the last lap, it was just a cool down lap. But here's an interesting note about our brakes, especially around pit time, and also about our tire temperatures, again, especially around pit time. So hopefully you found this useful. I sure did. And in my next few videos, I'm going to be importing the data into SQL Server instead. And we will be reporting on the same type of data, but maybe taking it up a notch a little bit so that we can actually get the most out of this data instead of just looking at these metrics here. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this race and brief tutorial. I will see you next time. Bye.